Hey, welcome back to Web Squadron. I want to talk to you about a client who's actually more of a friend now, whose website we built called LGBTQ Wellness. It's a directory for personal trainers serving the LGBTQ community. And he's a great guy, and his website is great. Well, we helped create it, of course, and he's got tons of personal trainers signing up to use it. But the way we built it, with WordPress and Elementor and WooCommerce as well built in, the key bit of it was the MyListing theme. Now, I'm a big advocate for hello when you come to use Elementor. Full stop, that's what you got to use. But the MyListing theme, if you want to build a directory website, it is out of this world. I have tested and played around with loads of directories, okay? I'm not going to name them all in case they start to have a go at me, but MyListing beat them in terms of efficiency, intuitiveness, and how you can make it work. What I want to do though is go through an actual live website and how we put it together using the MyListing theme and Elementor as well, because I've been asked a question by some people out there. By the way, I'm Imran, Web Squadron. I hope you like, share, follow and subscribe to my channel so that you can learn more about Elementor and WordPress to help you, your clients and your business. Notice how I forgot my little spiel there, but anyway, that's just the way I am. So we're looking at the LGBTQwellness.co website, and if I just quickly show you it, it's quite simple in terms of what the client, or Jamie, wanted. We have some text, we have some icons, we have like some blog post information coming through. So these are just the featured images now of some of the blog posts. We then have some more detailed blog posts below, and then we have a subscribe box below. Now you're probably going, well, so what? Nothing exciting going on there. However, this is what the directory will do for you, and this you could adapt for lawyers, doctors, hotels, restaurants, whatever you want, really. If I go to search, you are going to get taken to a page called search, basically, where you will have loads of options. Now, because of my laptop screen or my MacBook Air, it's currently only showing me a search filter on the left-hand side, and then two results going down the middle. Normally on a bigger screen, you'll actually have a map as well, and I'll show you that if I click over here. We have a map, okay? I've clicked on personal trainers, and now this is going to start to highlight where are our personal trainers. If I do a search, I could search for personal trainers or a particular name. So I've done a search on my postcode, and I've gone for 114 miles, mainly because a lot of the personal trainers that are currently signed up, they're kind of down south and there's not anyone near me at the moment. So if I did 50 miles, we'd have 0 results coming through. And I want to show you some actual results. We've got 7 that are currently in London. If I zoom in on London, I can start to see their location. And if I click on any of them over here, it's going to give me details about them. Okay, and I can then go in and maybe I go, right, I want to know more about Will. And when I go into Will, I will now get a picture. By the way, the quality of the pictures will only be as good as the quality that the customer or the personal trainer supplied. So please don't look at this and say, well, the pixels of that could be better. That's just down to what they uploaded. We don't have any control over that. But we will have details here about the personal trainer in terms of location, description. We have some, send an email, contact them now, bookmark them, if they've had any reviews, what's their pricing, things like that in terms of who they work with as well. So in terms of directory, this can be super, super useful. I just want to go back to the search page again. Okay, so if this was a slightly bigger screen, you'd have had a map sat over here. You can change this, by the way. So you have search, one column of results and the map. But on the MacBook, it shows like this. On a normal desktop machine, you would see the map as well. Believe me, the MyListing theme is brilliant. I cannot recommend it enough. We've already used it on 4 different sites in the last 6 months. So that's how passionate we are about it. If we didn't feel like it worked with us, we would not be repeatedly using it. Now, the MyListing theme, you can get from Theme Forest. It's currently $59. I am not going to put any affiliated links in the description. If you want it, you go away and get it. But I just want to show you here. Here's another example. And if I was to pick, say, let's go for a property demo, for instance. Let's just click and show you the page. So you can actually import these demos. When you buy the theme, you can import the entire demo as it is and then just modify the details. So whereas with the LGB website, we have a search page, specifically you go to the search page, you could set it up so that your search is on the home page. So you come to it and it says, find your next apartment. And you could pick from different categories. You could pick your price bracket, whatever you want. You could have location in here as well. You can do a search. Okay, so let's just see what results come up over here. Obviously, you're not going to get any because this is a demo. So let me just do search again. There you go. So there you go. This is now an example of the search, one column results, and we have the map over here. So you can just see how clean and wonderfully rich it looks. And that's what's really good about the MyListing theme. Right, back on to how do we actually use it? Because that's why you're here, I'm guessing. Let's just close some of these down. Bing, bing. And I better mention, though, there is a fantastic Facebook community, MyListing Club, run by Ryan Logan. Top guy, Ryan. He really loves and looks after you with the MyListing theme and supports and lets you know about new developments that are coming on as well. This is a great Facebook community where if you have questions or you want to get some support or help, come on here. People are always ready to help you out very, very quickly. All right. I'm not going to say, yeah, they get back to you within 2 hours. Sometimes it's minutes. Sometimes it might be a few hours or so, but they are really, really good and passionate. And they helped me no end in understanding the MyListing, even though it's intuitive. Sometimes when you want to be a little bit clever, you can ask your question here and they'll help you out. So what happens after you've installed the theme? Well, you install it, you activate it, and then you'll get the theme tools pop up in your WordPress in the top left corner. So you can't miss it. So this is really, really simple. General, well, you add in your logo and you then decide what is your accent color or background going to be. The accent color is basically going to be when you start to have accent colors within the theme or on the website, what is the color of choice? This is separate to the accent color you would normally set in your Elementor global colors. They're for Elementor pages, right? This is just directly for the theme. So we went for a purple color, you set your color, and you then decide, are you going to have a preloader? So that's when the website pages load up, there might be a preloader. And I said, if the preloader is an action, use the site logo and the loader color, you know, on the logo or behind the logo will be the same purple color as well. And that's all you do there. In terms of the header, now this is where I would say, if you are not using Elementor and you are going to be using what they give you here, you're going to want to start to mess around with, well, are you going to show a card? Are you going to show the search form? Are you going to show a sticky header on Squadron? What are you going to show? I was using an Elementor header. Therefore, I didn't really care much for this screen. And that's nothing against the MyListing theme, but I'm using Elementor to create a bespoke header and a bespoke footer so I can position things where I want, how I want. Okay? So if you aren't going to use Elementor, you might want to play around with this. The same can be said with the footer. I mean, I've got everything unticked there. Because again, I'm going to build my own footer. And we do that with Elementor, and I'll show you that in a moment. Now, the Explore. This is quite key. This is the search page. The search page has, I think it's 5. It's about 5. In fact, I've deleted them. It normally comes with about 5 Explore versions. Explore 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Each one of them is a slightly different look. Number 2 is the one with the search, 2 columns, and then the map, which is what we've got here. Explore 1, I believe, was the search bar, 1 column, and a bigger map. Explore 3 was no map, and I think Explore 4 was search filter and the map, but you don't get the 2 column results. It might make you feel like, well, I don't understand, I'm following anything you say, but look, when you load in the MyListing theme, it will give you the pages automatically. Add a listing, accounts, explore 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and all you got to do is just view them. Decide on the one you like the look of, and then say whenever anyone hits the search button, they are taken to that page there, Explore 2. You don't need to rename it, just leave it at Explore 2. No one else will see that. It just means that you're keeping it within the way MyListing have built everything, all right? Explore 2. I've also said that it will not show more than 9 listings on the page. I mean, I might want to increase that actually to 10. Let me just update that because we've got 2 columns, so we might as well have 10. Default. What is the page which will be used for add a listing? Now, they already give you the add a listing page. So I've just says, yep, add a listing is add a listing. You could rename this if you want, but add a listing you know, it kind of makes sense really. Single listing. So the only thing I messed around with here was the cover overlay color and the listing preview. So what happens here is when the listing comes up, if I had set this to be transparent, when we were looking at that example personal trainer, did you notice the image? There was like a slight overlay going over the image. If I change that to red, it will be a red overlay, blue overlay. If I make it clear, no overlay. And you can change the opacity over here as well. You play around with this. Do you want to have the image clear as day, or do you want to have a little bit of opacity because you want them to focus more on the wording below? Because by adding an opacity, the wording suddenly jumps out a bit more. Whereas you've got a bright image here, they might spend more time looking at the image. You have a think about what works for you. The blog. I used standard WordPress blog. I used Elementor to build the blog archive page, the blog single post page, and I didn't need to use the MyListing blog, because if you're using Elementor, you got a lot more control doing it that way with exactly how you want it to look. So I didn't bother with the blog bit. Now, custom code. Over here, there is a bit of code that says .finder map I display none. When you first used the MyListing theme, did you notice that when I had it and we had the map, you had an icon when there was someone and it was one icon? If you do not put this bit of code in, finder-map I display none here, when you have someone on the map, they'll have a second icon next to them. So you might have an icon for to say, here is someone who does what you want. There might be another icon next door to them, which might be a subcategory. And what I found is if you got 5 people on a map, you had 10 icons. 5, 10 icons. You have 10 people, it becomes 20 icons. And it was a little bit like, I don't really need to show the fact there's someone there and a subcategory icon, because I've already picked it via my subcategory filter on the filter thing. Or I've already said I need to have a personal trainer who does weights. I've already picked it. I don't need additional icons coming in. That means you now have one icon per person. And I think that makes a much cleaner looking map, in my opinion. So I would definitely put that bit of code in. Shop page. Well, I haven't got a shop in here, and even if I did, I would be using a standard WooCommerce, well, an Elementor template and a WooCommerce page, etc. for that. So again, I did not need to worry about that. And typography, well, I'm not gonna mess too much around with that, because then when I do want to mess around with the typography, I'll be using Elementor anyway. So there wasn't a lot to change here, I have to be honest. You just got to go through systematically. Now, in terms of performance, I would say this, right? Every time you do a change in terms of the look of this theme, or the categories, or what are the fields that need to be present when someone adds a listing, you know, name, address, email, all this stuff, you should always go to regenerate cache for all listing types. And you want to remove all listing cache. This is real time, by the way, and that's it, it's done. That's how quick it does it. Okay, you do that every time, because if you don't, it's sometimes, I've never had an issue, but I have heard of sometimes you might do an update, but it's not fully showing properly. So make sure you do that. Just regenerate whenever you've done a big major change. And don't forget to purge your standard cache as well, because if you don't purge your standard cache, there's always a chance that someone out there might be seeing an outdated version of your website. So make sure you purge after you do big changes as well. We then move to listing stats. This is where you now get to decide, if I have registered onto your website because I'm a personal trainer, when I log back in, I want to know how many people viewed my page. How many people clicked? Where did they come from? Were they on their phone, on a desktop? What can I learn about the people viewing my listing? This is now where we're saying, okay, we are going to allow you to see the referrals, the devices they used, and how many people viewed it. Do I want, if I want to show them the platforms and the countries, I could do, but I found that because the bulk of them are all UK based, and they're going to be serving the UK market anyway, I would have said, well, do we need to show countries? Because they might have someone from the USA who has viewed their particular listing. But because they only do face-to-face, one-to-one personal training, the fact that someone saw them from the US kind of is neither here or there, because they're not exactly going to now target the US market in terms of Facebook adverts or stuff like that. So have a think about what you want them to see. And you can mess around with, well, can they see the last 24 hours, 7 days, 30 days, 6 months, 12 months? I kind of block that out. And you get to choose your color scheme. So these are the charts that you would see when you log back in to go, right, I now want to edit my listing, or I want to see who's viewing me at this moment in time. Again, pretty intuitive what this does. Now I've gone over to map services, which is the next option, but I've quickly scrolled down because you have to get a map API from Google. You got to go to Google. There'll be the option to get a map API. You'll go through certain, bits of motion. You got to give them your credit card details. That's just the way Google works now. For most, geolocation map services, because basically, let me make this clear. By having the map, right, that now means that when I go and do a search and I put in my postcode and I say 200 miles or 10 miles from me, that is how it does the proximity search, and it tells me who's nearby. If you do not activate the map API, when you go to the map, you'll get a map, but it will say, please contact us. The owner must contact us because you need to get the map API. Plus, if you don't have the map API, it means you cannot have the function where you can search by geolocation proximity. And I feel that if you've got a directory website, to just say, search for personal trainers in the UK, well, that's great. I've now got 100. I really want to know about who's within 20 miles of me. Someone I could form a relationship with in terms of helping to train me and get things done, So I think it's really important. You could even argue that maybe, no, it's not so important maybe for a national service where everyone provides their service virtually online. Then the proximity kind of slightly goes out the window, doesn't it? You're going to do it online. I don't really care if you're in Scotland or Wales or wherever. But have a think about what's important for you. Then we have user roles. Now, at this moment, there is only one user allowed who can create an account on here. And that is going to be the customer, in effect. Or it could be, it says customer in here, but what it's actually referring to is the personal trainers, okay? So personal trainer, they will register, they will fill in their profile, and they submit it. It does not automatically go online until the owner of the website approves it, okay? So there's a bit of control there. Because you don't want anyone to just come on and go, yeah, I do, without authenticated verification, all right, of their documents or whatever. Now, you can do 2 accounts on here. So we did a tutor's website using exactly the same theme, and we set up a teacher's account, and we made clear the details we need from them when they first register before they do the application. So you need to do your forename, your surname, username, and all of that for your profile. And then we set up an alternate account, which was the parent account. So the teachers register, and then the teacher gets taken to an application form. Just like here, the personal trainer registers, they get taken to an application form to fill in their full profile. The parent, however, comes in, registers, but they do not go to an application form because the parent is registering, so they now have the ability to contact teachers. You both got to have accounts. We can't just let people contact one another. Otherwise, it's difficult to start checking how things are running efficiently and well. So you can use this process to set up 2 accounts. Now, I will stress this. You don't need more than one unless you are setting up 2 different accounts. Teacher, parent, they're 2 different entities. Here, whether you are a sports club, a wellness service, a personal trainer, or whatever, it doesn't matter. It is just one registration, okay? Because no matter what you are, you're going to go through to the application form. And the application form is actually different depending on if you're wellness, fitness, sports, personal trainer. There is a different one for each one. But before you get there, you must register this way. And we didn't need to register parents or people who want to, I need to train, I want someone to help me. They don't need to register. They can just go on, see who's available, and then go and make contact for them. So think about the flow and how you're streamlining it. Direct messages. Now, we've got this switched off because you can, if you want, enable it so that someone who finds a listing or a personal trainer they like, they can do a direct message to them. However, For them to do a direct message, they have to have registered as well. So where we have the instance of the parent and the teacher, direct messaging could work because they've both registered. But here, only the personal trainers are registered. No one else, the viewer, the person who wants to train, is not. Therefore, you don't need to do it. Okay? And we felt that, well, we already give them the phone number and email address and their website address and their social media accounts. So if they want to contact them, they can contact them. Okay? That's up to them. Social login. I actually found this one to be a little bit problematic. So it says Google or Facebook. So what you should be able to do is click this, authenticate, and it should allow you to basically, like, if I'm a personal trainer, I should be able to go in, and rather than putting in a username and password, I just say log in with Facebook or Google, and in I go. I found 50% of the time it worked, 50% of the time it did not work, and I could not put my finger on exactly why it didn't. So at the minute, I've just left this one off. Please do not take this as a bad thing. All right, it is not a bad thing at all. We have other. I didn't do anything there. We have shortcodes. I wasn't bothered about that because I was going to be using Elementor anyway for a load of it. Here's where you can import the demo. So we looked at the property demo. And I would say if this is the first time you're using the MyListing theme and you haven't put any other example records in or real records, it's not a bad idea for you to have a look at these and insert one. I learned how to use this by inserting the property demo, and then I reverse engineered what did they do, what did they have, and what did it look like on screen. So I could see, right, they did that to get that. And what if I tweak that? Oh, that's what happens, right? And I found that really helped my understanding. This is a very intuitive theme. Don't get me wrong. But if you want a head start and you just want to hit the ground running and know exactly what everything is doing, this isn't a bad way to do it. Or you could just watch this video and follow me, and I hope I'm helping out as well. But here's the really good thing about this theme. They have a ton of documentation, right? I've just gone to documentation. Look at this. 22 items here about single listings. And you might think, God, that's a lot. No. All of this is really good stuff. And I'm going to be showing you the good, juicy stuff that you need to know. So if you get stuck or you're a bit unsure, just go over and view the latest documentation. It is super stuff. I can't rate it enough, okay? And I am not affiliated anyway whatsoever. Right. So we've gone through the basic core settings in a way for MyListing, right? You then have an option called listing type. Now, for LGBTQ, we have 4 listing types: wellness, personal trainer, sports club, and fitness classes. Okay, we've got 4 there. What you do is create one. You don't create all 4, you create one, right? So let's go to wellness services. I'm going to go to edit. Normally, if you're creating a brand new one, you just click add new, and you'll come back to this exact same screen. You're just creating an add new. We're editing, it's the same thing, okay? I'm just going to move myself over here just now. We have a section down here for you to add a default logo and a default cover screen as well. Cover image, in fact. And then we have a configuration. I'll come back to that right at the end, okay? So on the right-hand side, you add in your logo and an image if you so want. This is the key bit, okay? And I hope this is going to make absolute sense for everyone. General. Over here, I pick a icon for the general icon to associate with wellness services. So I have a default logo here, and I have an icon here. Now, when you go here to pick your icon, right, and you got to think about what you're picking here, it is very easy for you to pick any font awesome and then pick one of these icons. Any icon you pick here that is a font awesome will not show on your map or on your website. And you're just going to get that little blank square, and it is going to frustrate you. What you need to do, make sure it always is on material icons. It will be on material icons when you load up. Don't be tempted to change it, okay? And what you do is you just scroll down, find what you want, so like run, whatever, find the icon of choice that you want, and then you insert that. Let's just close that down. Pick your singular name. Well, this is wellness service. What is the plural? Wellness services. And then the permalink will automatically create itself. So if I start to change that there, Oh, it doesn't. Sorry. The first time you do it, the permalink will be created. If you change this name to be services T, make sure you put a T down there, okay? They're dead simple, nothing to worry about. Staying on the general tab, we go to packages. This is where you decide now, are you allowing customers or personal trainers in this example to join for free, or are they going to join using a paid listing package? It might be a monthly package, it might be a one-off, you pay $99 a year, or it might be $10 a month, or whatever you want to do. You create your product in WooCommerce. So you must have WooCommerce will, when you install my theme, it will tell you to install WooCommerce as well. Install WooCommerce, trust me on that. You will go away and create a product. You could either pick one from here, or you create a new product. And when you create a new product, it takes you into add products with WooCommerce. Give it a title, description, image, whatever you want, and then you set your pricing. Is it going to be a monthly, recurring monthly pricing or whatever? That is if you want the person to pay before they have the right for their listing to go live, basically. You can have different packages. And for one customer, using the theme, we did that. In this one here, it's totally free at the moment. Okay, so this is where you decide on your packages. Now for reviews, are people allowed to leave reviews? So, can you, so gallery upload is allow users to attach image galleries to their reviews, star ratings, star modes, full stars, half stars is pretty self-explanatory that. Expiry rules. So at the moment, we don't have an expiry rule set for any of the listings, or Jamie doesn't for his website. If, however, you were selling packages like here, and you might say your listing for, 3 months online, it will be $50. I did not touch this schema, okay? Mainly because code scares me. Doesn't really, but I'm just saying I did not touch the schema. And with the other, I did not touch the other as well. So if you're creating one where you want to charge people, yes or no, just make sure you cover it off in the packages. In fact, I would say it's only the first 3 tabs you really, really need to focus on. Expiry rules is important, but general packages and reviews, focus on those. Fields. This is the bit where you really want to get dead right. You pick the fields that after I've registered, and I now want to apply for a listing, what do I need to provide back to you? And what will be visible on the website? Everything you need from them, whether it will be on the website or not, must be here. So even if I want to know from them like gallery images, but I'm never going to show it on the website, you must get it here. Because what you see on the website is a subset of this. So if on here we have 20 fields and the website is only going to show 5, those 5 are from the 20. I hope that makes sense, right? And so what you do is you just pick fields. You might pick a region, a category, a website, a logo. You might start to pick other fields like a select field, a multi-select field. Let me show you what I mean by a select one. So if I go to, there you go, services, right? This is a checkbox field. And if I click down here, when you add a field in, you'll say, what's the label name? What is the key? The key and the label are exactly the same. The placeholder is, can be whatever you want. And when I say it's a required field, it must be in the submit form. It is in the admin edit form as well, meaning I can change it later on. So I might have gone in there and said, yeah, I do acupuncture. And then I might decide, actually, I don't want to do that now. I have the ability to go in and remove an ad. And here's all the options. So they can pick basically any one of these that they want to pick. They can pick as many as they want. They're not limited to just yoga. They can pick therapy, Reiki, sex coaching, spiritualist medium, yoga yin. There's loads of stuff here you can pick. I don't know what half of these are. Okay, I have enough trouble running on the spot. But you can put your options. Now, how do you add these options? Basically, you go down here. You just add them. Look at that. You just add them one after another. And the easiest way to do this is just do it in Excel or Word or whatever, then copy and paste it in. So if I now decide, actually, after art therapy, we're now going to have art attack and save the options. Art attack will now be, let's get rid of that. will now be visible as an option for them to pick when they come to add an application. And we'll show you how to add an application in a moment. So what you do is you just add all your fields. Add your fields, okay? You can go back and add later, but try and think this through on a notepad. Think about what you want them to submit. They're the fields. Then we go to single page. Now, the single page, in effect, is what do we see when we get to viewing their details. Now, I've said you will have a cover image, okay? So the background, so you could have a gallery slider. So if they've given you loads of images, you'll get image, image, image. Or you just have one image. And what we saw on the example I did with the personal trainer was have one image. Just because I found that when you start to have gallery, 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 if the images are very varied, it looks a bit odd. And because the images are a certain size, sometimes if the person is like standing over here, you get scenery. You have no control over, like, is it left, right, center, top, bottom, none of that. So it's a bit hit and miss. Like I had one where you could just about see the person's ear and all you got was a tree. And it was like, no, it's better to have cover so you get a full image now, okay? We then have cover details. And this is where I've decided that, so when you view the image, there will be a couple of options on there, which are bookmark or call now. You will have the option on there for them to leave a review, to send a message, to go to their website. Well, I would rather they see all that when they're actually now on the person's profile page, right? But if they're not bothering to read all that, the only options I'm allowing them are to bookmark. So I can now bookmark that person and view them later, or I can call them straight away. So there's a direct call to action, call me now, but I didn't want to overdo too many options on the front page, okay? Or the cover block. We then have quick actions. So again, one of the quick actions that you'll have at the bottom of the page are share, leave a review. And again, I wanted to keep that quite clean, get directions, all of this stuff like that. You're going to have loads of these available anyway within the profile. So I don't want to duplicate, but leave a review and share this page to the world. I felt that was a pretty clean way to do it. And you'll see that again when we go back to viewing that person's page. Content and tabs. So when you view someone's profile, there'll be two tabs, profile and reviews. Let me just show you the review one first. When you click that, it automatically comes out like that. And there was no need to change it. Just leave it as reviews, all right? Let me go back to all tabs. You do have the option for profile reviews, related listings, store, bookings. Because this does not have a booking facility on here, there was no need to do that. And related listings, well, you know, maybe some people don't mind saying, well, I'm a personal trainer. No, I'm going to show you other personal trainers. But then again, if they've clicked to view my page, do I really want them to see other personal trainers? Well, no, because I want them to come and use me. So related listings, we did not show that. The profile, remember, we're still in content and tabs. The profile, though, when you click that, it suddenly opens up. Main column, sidebar column, what is going on here? Do you remember we said we have all the fields over here fields, all of these fields that we have here, tons and tons of fields. When we go to single page, content and tabs, and we're in profile, this is now where we decide on the field that will be visible when you view the profile. Okay? Some are there on the sidebar, and then you have the main column going down here with lots more features. So you get to decide how is it going to be listed. And if you decide you want to add a field in, what you do is you go here and decide, you know, it might be a table, it might be details, it might be a text area. So I'm just going to type in, I'm just going to pull up a text area. This is a fake, by the way. I'm going to click on here and I'm going to use the field. Let's use services that are offered. Do I want to have an icon? I actually removed the icon from all of them. So I didn't really want to have an icon. And custom block ID, left that. Custom block classes, don't really care about that. Done. And that's it. In fact, what you want to do is change the label to be description. Like that, okay? And that's it. And that field will now be present. Let me get rid of it because I don't want Jamie to have a go at me. But all of these, it's literally just a text field, except that is a gallery field. That's a work hours field. Even the services, which is a checkbox in the fields when you apply, when we bring it over, we're bringing over the services field, okay? So you get to now use what you want to use, and you decide where does it sit, okay? I found you do have different layouts, by the way, okay? You can have like a thinner column and a wider column. There are, or you could just have two equally sized columns. And I found with experimentation, the two column approach worked really well for the content and the sizing of the content as well. But play around with it. You know, it's got to be unique and bespoke to what you need to get across, what you need to get across to the audience. I bet I can make a tongue twister out of half the things I say. By the way, there is no script, okay? Everything is just off the cuff, and I even flicked my chin in as I did that, okay? The similar listings page, I have said enable it. However, I'm not really showing it on the page. So it's there. However, it's not really going to be showing up anyone who is a similar listing. Then we go to preview card. Now, this is the bit where when we're looking at the search form and you've done a search, you get those, you get a list of results that you then decide who you want to go in and view. So we've said just go for a default template. There are different ones, you know, list view like that, an alternate view like that. We just went with default. We have a background image. And then I decided, well, what sits above the title and what sits below? And so for above, I picked a field. You can have as many fields as you want, but just remember, too much content and it will start to wrap and come down. Same with the footer, too much content and it's gonna start to look busy. You want them to see an image very quickly. Yeah, okay, is this the person I'm looking for? Is this what I'm after in terms of the training or support I need? And in the bottom, we had details. I think from here, the details, it was a particular field. It was not a massive field, it's just a small field. So we're keeping it really clean. And again, when we get to the end, I will remind and show you what the profile and the search page looks like. Okay, we also have quick view. This is now where this is kind of like how it looks. But to be honest, I don't really bother much with this. This is just where now you have a template and you have a map. This is important though for the map because this is part of the search form. So I've said the map is on a grayscale. You could pick different colors. I find grayscale works the best. When you have icons that are colored on grayscale, they pop, they show, you can see everything. When you start to add in a color scheme and you've got list results coming down as well with people's faces and they've got their own color scheme because they would have uploaded their images, it gets a little bit too over colorful, and I think grayscale works really well. My recommendation today. And then we have the search form. And this is where you decide now what was in the search form. So I've got search. I pulled over a location field. I pulled over a proximity field. Okay. Services, which was a drop down. Identification, which was a drop down. I pulled them over from here, by the way. So I've just removed the proximity field, okay, just to show you that it is there. Because once you've used it, it disappears. So I'm just going to no, I have to click it twice. So you click it. I'm now just going to pick it up and drop it under location, go in and just say proximity. It'll be in miles. Step size is miles. The maximum is 250. The default value is 1. We'll leave it like that. So that's now saying that when you go to do proximity, it goes from 1 to 250 miles. And it starts at 1 rather than 10, and then you slide and pick how far you want people to be. So things like location and proximity, they are here. You just have to pull them over and then they appear. That, in essence, sorry, there are a few more steps. The basic search I did not use because I just have an advanced form showing on the search bar. The listing order is A to Z with the latest. The explore tab, well, that just has your filters, okay? And I'm not saying follow what I do here, but by having the Explore tab just allows you to pick a filter. So it might allow you to pick wellness, fitness class, sports club, and things like that. I kept it really, really clean, and that was it. Okay, this you could easily do in an hour. If you focus and you've mapped out your services, you could easily do this. I don't know how long I've been talking, probably about 5 hours already. I don't know. But I'm taking longer because I'm going through it. But if you think about it, you can get this done well within an hour. Now, here's the key bit. Once you've done that listing and you've hit update, okay, we go back to listing types, and you're sure about it, What you then do is go to edit, okay, go over here and you export the config file, the configuration. You export it, it will dump it into a JSON or whatever file over in your downloads folder. When you now need to pick or create another listing type, these are listing groups we're creating. You go over here, you click add new, right? And then you go down here and you do import, and you import the one you just exported. And when you do that, you will get an exact copy of what you had before. You can't duplicate it, but you have to export and import, and it takes a minute to do. Once you've imported it, you then basically just go over here, change the logo and the image, change the names down here, change the title here, fitness class, whatever, and then you go through here. And it will now have every, I mean, it won't here because this isn't even a proper field. Let me go back. Let's go to personal trainers. When you go to fields, you will now have every field from the previous one. And all you do is go in and modify it. Because it might be that the, like if I show you the personal trainer one, if I go to, so I've picked a type field, and over here now, we have completely different setup. We still got some yoga, but we don't have the same items over here that we had before, because this is now a different group and it might have its own options for you to pick or that you're providing. So you now modify what you want to go for. And basically what you would do is you would just kind of flick through all of them. You don't really need to change your single page fields. You can if you want. You don't have to change your results or your filter. Again, if you want to, you can. But I mean, I will say though that on the search forms, you can change it. Actually, I should mention that. So on the wellness one, you had services. On this one, we have type, because the services field is not present on that other listing, on this listing type. Instead, we have type. So if you've changed or added in a different field type for the fields that they can select, this is where you modify it, okay? But the key thing is that when you import over here and you get all your fields, you can keep them exactly the same, or you might go, no, we're going to get rid of services, and instead we're going to have a field called type. The type field was not present for wellness services, but the type field is present for fitness clubs. So you get to pick what you want to go for. And basically that's what you would do. You would just go through and do it. You know, here it's done 4 times. You reuse what we had before, but then we have to systematically modify and check everything is okay and working fine in terms of what we want to show. I hope that makes sense. Okay? You export, you import, and then you modify if you have to. If the fields are exactly the same regardless, you don't need to change anything. If, however, you want to filter differently, if you want the results to look different, you know, whatever you had in the sidebar and the main column when they're viewing the profile, you might want to swap them. Fine, go and swap them then. So you can have a different look and feel depending on the field types, which is kind of cool. Maybe you've got a directory of doctors and dentists. The doctor pages might look different to the dentist pages. So you can play around with what's important and what you want to show. Okay. Now, once you've done all that, you do have the option. I'm not going to click it because this has got... actually, no, I can go on here because you'll see the results anyway. So over here, we have listings. And it says it's got a red 1. What that is telling me is that there is someone here at the moment who has not been approved, okay? And the details are here, and we can approve them, and they automatically become approved. We can view them. We can edit what they have submitted if we feel they made typos or we need them to submit further content. You can do all of that here. But what's really cool about this is that you can at any point delete. I'm not saying you would, but if for whatever reason you had to, you could get rid of them as admin. You can also go in and edit it. So let's just edit Morpheus Fitness. If we go over here, this is where we're going to have all of their details that they submitted, what they picked. Okay, if we scroll up here, we can set up a featured image, which they have not got at the moment. So that means they'll get a blank image now. In fact, they won't get a blank image because it's one of the options down here. Sorry, I should have made that clear. There's the cover image. You don't need to worry about the featured image. Ignore that. You can start to decide, though, do they have an expiry date? So this is where you might say they got 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, 1 year, whatever. At the moment, it's very much open. Okay. So you can edit things or get them to edit as well. You must understand this. You can do it, or the person who created the listing can log into the account and re-edit their listings later on as well. But there are two ways to add a listing. The normal route is to go through the website, and that's what I recommend. The other option is you click Add New. Okay, so I could go in and I'm going to type in Imran Siddiq. Okay, I will then go over to here, and I will then decide, well, what is my listing type? I'm going to go for personal trainers, and it's going to say leave. It says leave, but in fact, it's not. You're not really leaving it. Okay, it's now just setting up the personal trainer fields. So now I can go down here and I can now fill in all the personal trainer fields. Add my cover image, description, gallery images. I will type in my postcode, so you now all know where I live. Right, it's done. This is all due to geolocation Google Maps API. I can pick my lists and go, yep, all of these, yep, let's go for all of these, everything on here, yoga, upload my qualifications, which will be PDFs of my certifications. Do I train online? Yes or no? These were checkboxes we created, yes or no. Phone number, social networks. Oh, we'll do Facebook, drop in the URL. Oh, we'll go for a YouTube link, drop in the URL. We're going to add in another one. Let's drop in Twitter, drop in the URL. And then once you've done all that, you click submit or publish. That will not be published until admin has verified and approved it. Okay. However, only admin can do this, because only admin has the rights to do this, by the way. So you're probably going to approve it after you've done it. So this is one way to do it, but the best way, not the simpler, the best way to do it is to go through the website. Now, let's get back onto, though, using Elementor for this website, because this will give you the search page. This will give you the results page. This will give you this profile pages as well, so you can view the profile. But what if you want to create your own home page and you want the search form to look a certain way? Right. If we go to pages, all right, this is now textbook standard Elementor. The home page is just an Elementor page. Let's edit it. And while it's editing, I'm also going to do an edit on Explore 2. Okay, just going to do an edit on Explore 2 as well. Let it open up there. And the add listing page, which is here, I'm just going to go to edit that one as well. So here's the home page. This is just textbook Elementor, right? Do I really need to go through this? This is just Elementor. Headers, covers, titles, whatever, okay? At the very top here, okay, we have a template for the header. In fact, let me go to the template headers, because I want to make sure I explain this all as best as I can so you do not get confused. Let me go to all for the templates. You do need Elementor Pro if you want to get the best out of Elementor. If you're doing Elementor free, you are going to hit a bottleneck or a brick wall with getting this to work and look brilliant. Please, please, please get Elementor Pro. Right, so we have header template. We have two headers, by the way. We have the header for the home page, and then we have a header for every other page. Let me just show you the header for the other pages, okay? Because that's the one that's prominent in most of them. So this is the header for all the pages. We have a logo, and then over here, we have the nav menu. Home, search, stories, contribute, add listing. If I go back over here and I go to appearance and I go to menus, see here we have search. If I click that search, okay, is using, let me just find it for you again, Explore 2. I clicked Explore 2 and it appears, and I then changed the label. Before it said Explore 2 here, like that. I changed it to say search, like that, because that's how the client wanted it. Okay, so it doesn't matter whether you use Explore 135, you bring it over as it is, and you just change the name here. Okay, because I wanted control in where it sits on the menu and how it sits and where it goes, okay, on the page. Okay, I hope this is making sense. So that was the header. So you can create your header to go wherever you want. This is the add listing page. Now, this again is an Elementor page. Over here, we have a header. Over here, we have a section, and this section contains a heading. That heading has a link to this page here. Let me just copy it here so you can see it. If I do that, it has a link to that page. So my listing automatically gives you the My Account page as part of the theme. Instead, rather than we having a My Account button up here, you now just click on Add Listing and then you sign in that way. Let me just get rid of that. So you can pick and choose, because once you've got the links, you can create buttons and headers and text, images, and link them to go into where you want. You're not restricted by the theme. This down here. So when you, let me just shrink myself down. Shrunk. When you come to add a listing, okay, this is just a short code, add a listing form. And so if I go to Elementor and I just shrink all of these down until I get to the 27, where are they? Where are they? Where are they? Oh, there you go. It sits under WordPress. There you go. It sits under WordPress. You can just do a search for 27 as well, but we got I don't know why it's not showing there. Why is it not showing there? I'm just going to click add. There we go. Add listing form. Okay. So I drag that over there, and what it automatically does is give me the colors, the way I'd set it up, the icons for each of the listing types. So do you remember for the wellness, we had like this icon of a person, an avatar. So when you add a listing, it's before you get to register or apply, you have to pick one of the categories. So once you've picked a category or a listing type, it now knows the flow. So once you've gone through this flow, you now go to this application form. If you're a personal trainer, you go to this application form. Okay, but look, look, I could copy this, right? And I could have stuck this on the homepage, right? It could have been anywhere I want. I could even stick this over here. Like I could take this, stick it into a template, take this shortcode and stick it into an accordion. So down here we have a toggle. You click the toggle or whatever, and it opens another template, like a pop-up. Could even be a pop-up. You click it, pop-up appears, pick your type. You pick your type, it takes you to the application page. So you are not restricted. And that's what's great about this theme. Unlike other themes that are built and other directories that are built using whatever, and then they say, yes, it works well with Elementor, this is so built with Elementor in the first place, right? Their documentation recommends it. Half the documentation they have is all about Elementor and how you use it to do this, right? So you've got an Elementor platform, a product built with Elementor for Elementor and you. So if you're an Elementorist, MyListing Theme, right? If you're not bothered and you're happy messing around with CSS code and making things work, fine, go elsewhere. But I'm telling you to use this. Okay, so that's the add listing page. Let's leave that. And then we have the explore page. Now, this explore page, okay, there's a section here. In fact, this entire section, this entire page is the explore listings widget, okay? So this will already be on the explore 2 page for you. But if you weren't sure about it, if we just type listing, there we go. It's the explore listings widget that you drop in, okay? So if I go over here, we have template 1, look, template 2. Doesn't look that different actually. Template 4. They're not looking different because I'm on my MacBook. If I was on a bigger screen, a 24-inch, you'd see a different look. So I go in to my content and we have fitness class, sports club, personal trainer, wellness services. If I click at the top, it starts to automatically filter onto those services. So now this is important. When you have to make sure you add in your listing types for them to be visible over here. So if you imagine we've got wellness services here. I'm going to take wellness services off. That is no longer there. So you got to go over here and I'm going to say over here, oopsie daisy. I'm just going to duplicate the personal trainers, go here, and I'm now going to pick the wellness services. So it's going to tell me if I've got 20 listing types, I can pick which ones are present. So you could have 2 separate search pages. You can have a search page for doctors, and it's got options at the top. A search page for dentists, that's got dentist options at the top. So don't please think that you only have to have one search form. You can have multiple search forms here, okay? And then, I'm saying, you just go through and start to decide on your map and how things look, and you start to mess around with the look of it. And like, if I just go here, you can't see the map, obviously, at the moment, but because we're on fitness classes, there is type, right? There's the type. If I go to wellness services, we now have services, and we have the services. Sports club, we have a different form of type. There's only running. Personal trainers, well, now we just have qualifications rather than services and type. So you can set different filters for the item at the top, and that's before we've even gone on to different search pages. But because this is Elementor, I mean, this is an Elementor widget, right? I can go into here and I might say, okay, we're going to add in tons of padding, right? Let's just do 100 padding. Let's make the style and section of this background be purple, right? Okay, I'm just trying to show you that you can do lots of creativity here. I mean, look, I could even go over here and let's pick an image. Let's pick this image here. Okay, don't know who that is. Let's just pick that image. Let's just set it as no repeat. We'll have it as a cover image. The quality probably won't be great. I'm just showing you how this works. Background overlay. Let's go for purple and we'll darken it like that. Okay, I'm just showing you because you're in Elementor. So you just add in the widget or the shortcode or whatever and away you go. Okay, right. Now let's close that down because I don't want to update this. Hey, Jamie, if you're watching, hope you're well, and I hope you don't mind me doing this. Did I get permission from Jamie to do this? No, I didn't, but I'm sure he doesn't mind. And by the way, if you are serving or you are part of the LGBTQ community out there and you do personal training or you offer services, please go to this website, lgbtqwellness.co. Okay, I make nothing out of this. I love Jamie. He's a great guy and I loved working on this website with him. He's such a cool, friendly guy. Please go and register. You know, people will find you and they will use you in a good way. I hope. Okay, so that's how you use Elementor and the MyListing theme. And if we now just log out of this, so we're viewing the website, okay? I've already told you about the search option. If this was a bigger screen, you'd have the map. Okay, believe me, you would have the map. I'm telling you, you'd have the map. Okay, I'm going to go in and I'm going to go for personal trainers. In fact, I'm not really bothered about the location. I'm just going to go in and I'm going to say, give me a level personal free trainer. But look, here's the really cool thing, by the way. This was a checkbox, right? Look, I might go, I want that as well. And I want some circuit training. And you know what? I want to go for a life coach as well. And here's the results. And I may now just scroll down and start to go, well, who do I want? And I might go, no one there at the moment. Let me go to page 2. James Kearslake. I go over to his page. Don't know why I keep calling him Jamie, by the way. His name is James. Sorry, Jamie. James. Jim. James. And I go down and I get his details. I can zoom in if I want to see where he is. I can read up about him. It's got details for me now to go away and contact him. Great. I can even now go in and view reviews. I can leave a review. Okay? This is basically how it works. And if we go back to the page over here, do you remember? This is what we're showing in the top. We're not really showing anything. In the bottom, we're just showing some minor details. We're not overloading it with too much description. We want you to make a decision. There is a black overlay. You hover over it, and you can, well, when you hover over them, there is a bit of a black overlay, but that's because it's trying to prompt you to now make the click. Wellness services. Look, you know, you can either search or not. But the great thing is, notice how the options change. Sorry, sports club. There aren't none at the moment, but the option is there for you to add one. Now, what if you want to add a listing? Well, you go to add a listing, right? And I might say, right, what are you? I'm going to say I'm a personal trainer. I am now, if I have already registered, and I now want to modify my details, or I want to see how well is my profile doing, that's where you go to sign in. So you'll now land on this page. And I'm now going to use a different email address, and then we sign up. So you're registering, and now it will take me to this specific page to do with personal trainers. So personal trainers, there is no services option. Oops, sorry, I've zoomed in and out too much. No, go away. That option will not be there, but what I do have is the qualifications. But if I'd gone to wellness services, I would have had a services tab, and you basically pick all your options. Remember I showed you add a listing. Admin could have done it directly within WordPress. But me as a user, I would go in via this route. So at the moment, I am going to I'm not going to add anything, okay? Okay, I'm not going to add anything, but once I've added it, it would then send an email to admin would then approve it, and then I go online. But I want to show you, what does it look like if I was signing in? Okay, so if I sign in, so once you've logged in, this is now where you get taken to your profile page if you are a registered person or a listing. And this is where you get to see how many times have people viewed your site in the last 7 days, 30 days, or whatever. You can go to your listings via here, or you can go to clicking My Listing here. You can either view it, or you can click Edit, and you will now be taken to the page where you can start to edit your information and details. And basically, right at the bottom, you'll hit the Submit button. But that is, for me, probably one of the most simplest ways of building a directory website. And there's probably bits, nuances and bits here and there and things you might also want to think about. But in terms of the theme, Elementor, fully integrated, creating your listing types, creating your fields. It is super, super slick and simple, I think, especially when it comes to the interface for when you want to get people to sign in or sign up and pick what they want to go for. Their listing type. You can have as many listing types here as you want, by the way. You can have 20 if it's going to be a very complicated site. And I mean complicated in a good way, in terms of you might be a directory of shops, hotels, restaurants, cafes, all of that kind of thing. It might be restaurants, and you might have a different type, Indian, Italian, Mexican, Caribbean, all of these different types. So I think the My Listing theme is fantastic. I hope you use it, and I hope this video has helped, especially anyone who, I did do some previous videos, but I've gone into a bit more in depth in this one, I think, than I did in the previous one. So I hope you like, subscribe, share, and follow, and I shall see you soon.